You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech for Tech's Tech Talk, where we help your business grow. This is episode 18, What's in Your Box? Yeah, I know it sounds a little bit strange, but we're going to talk about what's in your box. So please comment in the comment section and let us know where you're viewing from and what company you work for. And more importantly, let us know if you can actually see us and hear us okay, and make sure we haven't got technical issues like we had last week. So if you'd like to, please comment in the comment section and let us know if you can hear us fine. So we've got Drew saying hi guys and Peter saying dude. So that's pretty good. If you are from the Tech for Tech's Facebook group, please make sure you post in chat, or should I say click the link in chat, what I'm putting in now, and that will allow your name to be shown. So is everyone able to see us okay? Kieran, Rosu, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Facebook user, can you see us fine? Let's just see if we get a few comments. Okay, so everything seems fine, loud and clear so far. That's brilliant. Thank you, guys. That's saves us going 10 minutes into the show before realising that everyone can't actually hear what we're saying. So that's pretty good. Right, so today we are joined by Cormac, Ben, Ian, Tim, and David. So, Cormac, if you would like to introduce yourself, let us know who you are, where you're from, and what you do. And do you have any tips, advice, stories, or anything at all to tell us this week?
Yep, how you doing? I'm Cormac from Crosshaven Computers in sunny old Ireland. I'm having a good week over here. I was telling the lads beforehand I got a build of a computer for myself, my first gaming machine. I have no idea what's in it. My tech built it, but it seems fairly spectacular. But my tip of the week, actually, I was working a lot of time. For the businesses that I look after, I have 90% of them on G Suite. I just much prefer G Suite to Office 365, and I'm kind of nearly at a stage there now that I think I'm going to have to either go all in right across the board on one on the other. So it's going to be G Suite. I don't think the size of the offices maybe 5 to 10 people. That's what I'm looking after. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe that's enough. I don't know if I want to go bigger than that and get more people employed and stuff. But one thing that I'm looking at in G Suite, I don't know if many people are using G Suite. There's the basic account, I think, is around £5 a month per user. So we'll say there's 4 of us. So that was around 20 odd quid we were paying. But for £10, you get the business standard one. And with that, you get an extra kind of folder as such called the shared drive. And it operates as exactly what it says, a shared drive. And it's be perfect. I'm introducing it into the offices that I'm working with now, in the sense that instead of just sharing folders and stuff, the shared drive is basically like the old-fashioned way of having a shared drive in an office, but it's in the cloud and they can see it everywhere. But actually, I've been blown away with it. Really am being blown away with it. And if anyone out there is just using the normal cheaper version of G Suite, I would seriously upgrade and have a look at it. It's absolutely, its features are very well organized compared to just using Google Drive in itself. So definitely go onto YouTube and have a look at the Google Share Drives. Well worth having a look at.
Okay, it's a pretty good tip. And yeah, shared drives are absolutely brilliant because obviously you can share everything with your laptop or whatever, wherever you want. So that's always a good tip. Let's move on to Ben. If you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, where you work for, you know the drill, and let us know a story or tip or whatever you want to let us know about.
Yeah, good evening, Phil. My name is Ben Ashcroft. I run Bugs and Bytes Computing in sunny Lincoln, specialising in refurbished laptops and desktop computers. So my tip, or rather my news story this week, one for the Apple fans, all 5 of them. It's the new iMac is being released tomorrow. The 2021 model, the 24-inch model gets released, not released, pre-ordered tomorrow, and then released on the middle of May. I think it's about the 21st of May it comes into the UK. Available in 6 vibrant colours plus silver for the 7th. It doesn't use the Intel chip anymore. It's now using the M1 RISC chip, which is about the first time in 15 years that Apple haven't used an Intel iSeries chip in their iMac. So should be interesting. Looks like a very slim design, slimmer than the current models, which could make servicing on them interesting when the time comes. But there you have it.
Yeah, you probably need a chisel to get into them these now. I'm going to say they're getting thinner and thinner and harder to repair. I think that's most things, and probably cheaper plastics as well. I don't know. Have you seen any of the quality of the plastics? Are they going down HP route, or are they going to be pretty strong?
I've only seen a couple of stock photos on the internet, but it looks like it brought back sort of bezels in the screen surround, which I'm not a fan of because I actually like the sort of frameless design that you have on the current iMac, just the whole nice bit of glass with a little border. But yeah, they brought back a bezel design all around the top of the screen. It looks like a cheaply made all-in-one at first impressions, but we'll see.
We'll see. Right, let's move on to Ian. If you want to introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, blah, 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 and any story tips this week. And I think you're muted, Ian.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you and your keyboard.
Yeah, my name's Ian from IPC Solutions in sunny Heybridge, near Malden, specialising in selling and buying computers and building gaming PCs at the moment because everyone wants them. Interesting about the iMac, I really hope they make the screen that you can just pull it off like the old 2012 models because it made servicing so much easier. My tip would be for anyone like me who's a bedroom builder, as they like to be known as, keep a good inventory of all your stock because I've been ordering loads and loads of stuff for repairs that I've been doing recently, only to find out that when I move things and don't do a man look that I've actually got them already. So keep a nice simplified spreadsheet and then organise all your drawers properly with labels on, something which I've just started to do again. So that's my tip of the day. Be organised, then don't buy unnecessarily.
That's a good tip, and it goes with today's topic about what's in your box. You can organise your drawers at the same time. So, sorry.
Carry on movie here, Phil.
Let's just quickly go to chat and just say hi to everyone who's commented. So we've got Mark Dennis from Rayleigh Computer Shop saying hi. We've also got, someone who has just been banned.
Great. Good luck to him.
Right, he's gone. And let's have a look. Kieran says we can see you, audio-visual perfection. Alison says hi. Hi, Alison at EADR. We've also got Jason as well saying hi and everything sounds fine. And Peter says evening as well. So, Alison saying the famous man look. Don't know what she means by that one. Probably need a translator or something, but there we go. Right, let's move on to Tim.
Has Jen never said that to you then, Phil? Stop doing the
No. She hasn't said that to me. I'm obviously missing out on something there. But, right, okay, let's pass on to Tim then. So, Tim, if you want to introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are and any news, tips, stories you've got.
Hi, yes. So my name's Tim from TCAM PM and IT Solutions. Don't go by the accent. I live in North Yorkshire. So yeah, I say primarily focusing on refurbs, and I'm now branching into doing a lot of office refurbs, that kind of thing. I've been doing a lot of infrastructure, that kind of, and everything else. Certainly this week. Yeah, my tips really is when you're dealing with customers when they're kids that have problems with their gaming computers, I would say before you sell anything that they say game and the word gaming is mentioned, ask which game they're thinking of playing, because they're always going to understate what they think they need, and then it just causes problems later on. So yeah. Do that, theoretically saves a whole lot of pain. So at the end of the day,
that's a good tip. To be honest, always ask questions, because you could easily underquote or overquote for a machine too good or too bad for them, depending on what they need to do. Especially when little Timmy has told them that they need a big top end machine, what's got an i9 processor and a GeForce 3090 in there or whatever. Let me just let Cormac back in. Oh, there he is. There we go. And Cormac, you've got to mess my list up now. Everyone's in the wrong order. There we go. Here we go. Get everyone in the right place. Here we go. Right. Okay. You're trying to confuse me. Right. Okay. So, yeah, good tip, Tim. Right. Let's move over to the noob of the day. So, we've got David in. If you want to tell us who you are, David, and let us know what you do, and obviously any tips, news, and advice you've got.
Hello. Hi, guys. David from Scormie Computers in a little village called Headley Hall near Sunderland, so from the northeast of England. Specialise in PC repairs, laptop repairs, gaming PCs, refurbished laptops, that type of thing.
Okay, that's pretty good. Have you got any tips or advice or anything?
Yeah, just to sort of never make promises to customers. Don't always set like a realistic time frame. So you can resolve stuff. Quite often you can resolve a complaint before it happens. I always tend to tell customers something will maybe take 2 or 3 days, where sometimes it'll only take maybe a day, done the same day. Just seems to resolve complaints. Some customers want things doing the same day, and when you can't get it done the same day, if you make a promise it's going to be done then, and it's not done then they end up getting obviously quite upset and complaining. That was my tip, just a general thing, really.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to overestimate to customers, because then when you get it done quicker, then you look like a miracle worker rather than someone who's incompetent and not doing what they're saying they can do. So, yeah, I must agree with that one. So, right, let's go on to... Well, first of all, we've got to go on to, before we do anything else, is this week's sponsor. Fab's Auto Backup, one of the most useful and affordable tech tools on the market. Gone are the days where you had to back up user email settings in Outlook, copy and paste document folders from one drive to another, and save all your bookmarks separately. Fab's Auto Backup does all that with ease. Just run the ultra portable program on your PC, click Backup Now, choose where you want to back up the user profile, then tick the boxes of what you want to back up, and it will do it all for you with ease. And if you're a Tech for Techs member, you get an extra 25% discount on Fab's Auto Backup 7 Pro. Right, there you go. And also, that is one of the tools I do have in my toolbox as well, actually. But we'll get more into that in a few minutes. So, my news or advice or stories this week is, first of all, it's actually Apple related. So Ben will like this one, probably the only person. But Tim Cook of Apple today warns of Apple product shortages due to chip and manufacturing shortages, possibly eating into Apple's income, with the possibility of only making 109 billion this year compared to 111 billion last year. So
there's no point.
Yeah. On another story, Apple says that a surge in sales of iPhones has led to it doubling its profits. Come on, Apple, which one is it? Seriously, are you either going to make a loss this year, or should I say, 2 billion less this year, or are you going to double your profits? It's going to be one or the other. So Ofcom also said that around 20% of children did not have access to internet in lockdown, and 1.5 million people in the UK have no internet access. Personally, I find that a little bit strange, and I probably think that the kids do have computers. It's just that mum and dad are probably on Facebook and Netflix taking over the accounts, to be honest, and not letting them on. But I've seen a lot of, personally, where these free laptops for kids' schools or whatever schemes that have been going on in lockdown. I've known full too well that some of them are getting these free laptops and they already have laptops at home. I think a lot of them are claiming they don't have stuff when they actually do. So it might have something to do with it. Also, Facebook has reportedly been showing adverts about extreme weight loss, fast food, online dating, alcohol, gambling and smoking to under 18s. So this opens a can of worms for Facebook's because they're basically, showing all this information to basically 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, which shouldn't be, basically. So it's not good data protection there. And would you really want a 13-year-old having adverts popping up about getting targeted for sugar daddy services and stuff like that? It's a big no-no, Facebook. So you've really got to watch out there. So Facebook does need to watch out what its advertising stuff is. I think the minimum age for Facebook these days is 12, 13, and I know kids go on younger than that. Most parents just let them on anyway, but the advertising shouldn't be directly aimed at them, that's for sure, and at least not that sort of advertising. Right, so before we go on to the main topic, if you have any thoughts or questions on this topic, please feel free to comment. If you are watching from the Facebook group, please click the link in chat. This will allow your name to be shown in the live chat rather than being called Facebook user. I've just pasted the link into the Facebook group chat, so if you click on that, it will then allow your name to be shown. Right, okay, so let's see what we've got. So let's go round the table then. So this show is about what's in your box, and no, it's no weird XXX show or anything along that line of things, or 12 o'clock preview show or anything like that. This is about what tools you keep in your toolbox. Okay,
so sorry about that, man. Good luck to you.
It should be to do with your screwdrivers or your software.
Getting worse, mate.
Okay.
Hard drives, is it, Phil, or hard drives?
Well, I'll leave the hard drives for you, Cormac.
Definitely not floppies.
That's the audience gone anyway, lads.
Okay. So let's start off with Cormac then telling us about his 2.5-inch floppies.
You know something, Phil? This is the last time they're going to let an old guy's phone. Jenny, come back. All is forgiven. Come back. Alison, you need to come on and help us out, girl. Yeah, all right, I'll get it serious now again. Right, what's in my software stack of things? There we go. Actually, just looking around, like I don't know. I'm residential and business, but I don't do builds of computers or stuff, you know. So if for the first, if someone comes in with a computer, the very first thing I'll do is myself and Eve will book it into in and label it and put the problem, book it in with Synchro MSP. We'll log it all, you know. And then after that, the tool that I use on every single computer is Malwarebytes Tech Bench. That's it. That's the go-to tool for everything. We'll put it up on the bench. We'll run that tool just to check out what's going on. After that, we will use Fabs. Obviously, I say everyone on this panel, I would imagine, is using Fabs. And since there are advertisers, if you're not using Fabs, there's just something not right. Besides in a toolbox, Jesus, there's not I don't really take apart computers. My techs don't take apart computers, so I'm sure they have some screwdrivers and stuff over there at some stage, you know. No, we got heat guns, we got all that sort of stuff. Besides that, and stock wise, in general, I'm just having a look around there. Stock wise, I mostly keep a certain amount of SSDs, a couple of switches, you know, a lot of cables. But we're not retail. So we're not selling much outside there. What I would be very interested, and I'm sure one or two of you are using it. Something that I'm being tempted to buy for a while, but I haven't bought. Was is it the PC Checker Euro which one is it?
Yeah, Eurosoft.
And that's why I'm actually just one of the reasons I'm interested in this show tonight, because I will actually be interested to hear how you're using that, because to me one of my big tools I use to check actually is Linux. Just Linux stick we make for free, and it's not anything but free. I will pay what I will need to pay. They're business expenses, you can write them off. But for Linux, to me, if there's a problem, you know, even if the Wi-Fi or something's not, I'm just using that as an example, not picking up hardware, software, straight off. That's the way I was taught in my Linux stick to see if it's a hardware, software problem, and it can tell me so much, you know. So I'd be very interested to hear what people have to say about their tools they're using on those, because from what I see, I think I have got everything I need. So I would love to come out of this show with kind of going, right, I need one more, I need that tool. There's that someone's using something that I'm not using, and I definitely need it to make my job faster. And that's the key to it. That's why I love Malwarebytes Tech Bench so much. You just put it in, you scan it, you see what's going on, and you know, the minute it says anything about a hard drive not being good, that's it. Finish, fabs it up, and tell the customer they need a new SSD. You have it turned around, your next computer up on the bench, off you go. You know, there's that's something else. That's something I will finish on this one. I will not speed up a spinning drive laptop anymore. It's not worth it. I tell the customers it's going to slow down in a couple of months, which is well. I'm not like if you do put an SSD into them, every single customer will kind of go, wow, this computer is 5 times faster than the day it was. So and it takes too much time and this and that. I just tell them, no, the hard drive is bad. It needs an SSD, and I'm fairly strict about those things now, you know. So that's what we're doing here in little old Crosshaven.
Yeah, and some few tips I'll run through. Obviously, Eurosoft and how I use it in a bit. Obviously, the guys in chat might use it as well, so I'll let them go first. But yeah, some good bits of information there from you there, and Cormac. What about yourself, Ben? What sort of tools do you have in your toolbox?
So one of the best things I bought a couple of years ago, I had a whole set of different size screwdrivers and stuff like that, and I'm not the most organised person. I was forever leaving one lying about on a desk, going to work on something else, couldn't find it again. I bought one of these toolkits off Amazon. Absolutely brilliant, complete lifesaver. I think it was about £25, £30. It's got all your different screwdriver heads, your cross heads, your flat heads. It's got your TriStar head for taking batteries out of MacBooks, hex nuts, Allen keys, that sort of thing. Just absolutely brilliant bit of kit. Didn't think it would last. I thought £25, £30 is not going to last that long. Had it for a few years. There's only one screwdriver head that's gone bad, just because I used the wrong one. Other stuff I definitely always keep in stock. SSDs, like Cormac said. I don't sell a single machine now with a hard drive unless it's, for instance, a gaming laptop with a hard drive as a secondary drive. SSDs all the way, usually keep sort of 10, 20 drives in stock. We've all got our favourites. I stick to Kingston's, Crucials, SanDisks. They've always been very good. Usually keep some laptop screens in stock, especially at the moment with the way prices are going on laptop screens. Bulk buy a batch, maybe 10 or 15 of the 15.6 inch panels, that sort of thing. Software wise, I've got the Eurosoft PC Check. Yeah, decent bit of software, like it. You get a nice printed report if you want it. It does all your diagnostics, that sort of thing. So, yeah, quite pleased with it.
Okay, nice one, Ben. I'm going to say there's a few bits there. Toolkits, yeah, I must admit I've got a couple of toolkits. I'll share them in chat when I get around to my turn, but there's that many different ones available these days. Some have got bits for opening phones up, some are just standard screwdrivers, and then you got your star ones and so forth. And there's one specific kit I have, and I've got 5 of them. I've got one in the shop, one in the house, one in my truck, one in my studio, and so forth. And I've got another one somewhere. Oh, I've got 2 in the shop, that's why. But yeah, so I think we all have our favourite screwdrivers. Right, let's go on to Ian. So, Ian, what sort of tools do you have in your toolbox?
Physical tools of when I do home visits, I always take my little toolbox, physical toolbox that I bought with lots of screws. Always take a few SATA cables, a couple of SSDs, a couple of USB with Windows and Linux, and also Harden's boot disk. I know it's a legacy thing, but it's good for removing passwords if you need it, or for some of the other tools I've got on there. I bought a WoW stick for a recommendation from the group, which is a good little tool. But when you get to a tricky screw that's so tight, you have to go to your manual set. And I bought a cheap set from Lidl, I think it was. This huge, whacking great thing that's come in quite handy, actually. And that's got loads of different screw heads and sizes, etc. I always keep loads of SSDs. One of my saving things I've had for years is a little USB external caddy. It's great for cloning drives, great for fault diagnostics, so you can just whack a hard drive out of a computer and just run all your software checkers, etc. that you've got on your machine. So that's been a bit of a lifesaver. Always try and keep laptop screens, like Ben says. I've got about 280 of them at the moment. And a couple of, if you can get them, graphics cards and motherboards. And lots of bits and pieces. But to take around people's houses, and business cards. I always take business cards in my little box as well. So you can do on-site repairs.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, you've got a nice arsenal of tools there to take with you, and or at your small office, or is it your home you're working from mainly? Is it? Do people come to you, or do you go to them, pick it up, and bring it back?
I've got quite a wide demographic audience and customer base, really. So for the elderly customers, they always like me to do home visits, and it's just easier that way. But most of my stuff, other than that, is done in my office, and I work from home. And I've just got stuff everywhere because I just amass so much stuff.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
It's crazy. I've got a couple of lockups as well, but they're full up as well.
Well, I've got the shop. We've got the shop. That's full up of stuff. We've got the house, and that's half full up of stuff. And then we've got the studio, and that's full up of stuff as well. So it's sort of like, God almighty, I need a warehouse at this rate. But yeah, as you can imagine, costs add up when you start having 3 different places to keep your stuff. But and then the missus tells you you're off for bringing work home. So it seems like most of us have had that experience. So right, let's go on to Tim then. So Tim, what sort of tools do you use? Actually, before we go on to Tim, if anyone in chat is watching, what tools do you use? Have you got any special tools you like? Feel free to share a link and I'll have a look at it. It can be software, hardware, special screwdriver. Can be whatever you want. So let's go on to Tim now. So Tim, tell us what sort of tools you use.
I say it's generally I kind of get a mix of everything, which is why some people think it's I carry half the office with me. Because I do a mix of home visit and people come to me in the office, or they bring stuff to my house as well, depending when the office is open. Call it out of hours if it's urgent. So I've always got a selection of network leads. So if I do out calls and they say there's a problem with networking, it's just half the time it's it can be down to the dodgy network cable somewhere. So one of the things that I've always carry with me is, don't see it, but one of the the RJ45 kits where you can just take the cable, test the network cables directly. You just work it out if they're wired up correct, that kind of thing. One of the cables that allows me just to get plug into a 2.5-inch hard drive directly, so I don't need a caddy or anything like that. It's just it's just one of those straight cables, USB, so I can just format, wipe them, put them back in the laptop or SSD kind of thing. If I want to do it mobile, always got every screwdriver under the sun, including the nice so-called secure Apple ones. The little triangular 0.2 millimeter things as well. So yeah, and then software-wise, it's all. I've got a program called Disk Drill as well for recovering data. When you get the request when you're there of, oh yeah, I've lost the data, I've deleted it by accident. Crystal Disk. Started using Fabs as well, so and I keep that all on a separate USB available, and I always make sure I've got a backup USB drive as well, so a terabyte mobile drive, just so I can back up the customer's data while I'm doing the repair in mobile as well as in the office. Keeps everyone happy. It just sometimes I do have to plan a bit ahead sometimes where I'm going, because it is quite a bit of kit. But yeah.
Yeah, you can have a lot and it all adds up. I'm going to say, I must admit, I've got a lot of kit and it'll probably take me all day.
I mean,
I've probably got.
Somewhere where I'm not where I'm getting the train to, or going from A to B kind of thing. It's not say going and getting the car. I don't really fancy carrying it all around with me. So
Yeah, I can understand that. I've probably got that many tools. I probably don't remember half of the ones I've actually got until I actually see them. It's all those little things you buy and think, oh, that'll work for something, and you use it once and then forget about it. So, right, let's move on to David. So, David, what sort of tools do you use mostly? Any specific screwdrivers or software or anything like that?
Well, there's not a lot left to say. I think everyone's covered everything. I do use this quite often. Hammer, just for smashing annoying computers. No, software-wise, recently I decided about 2 years ago to use Easy to Boot on a little USB stick, and you can just put so many different ISOs on it. Programs like MemTest, Windows ISOs, Linux recovery, and it's just all in one little stick, and it's just so much easier than having about 50,000 sticks with different programs on. I found that quite good. I also use a little piece of software, Windows ISO Downloader, which just gives you links to Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and you can download it straight from Microsoft's servers, and also Office 2010 and up from Microsoft servers. It's quite a handy piece of software.
That's pretty
That's
good
about
because
it.
you've got all the different features as well, haven't you? A window, so you'll have like 1803, 1903, and all your different
Yeah,
versions.
you can
So
download any one you want. Yeah, any different version.
that's pretty good. Do you have like a favorite tool, like screwdriver brand or anything, or do you just get anything what does the job?
Um, I build a lot of gaming PCs, so I like these little snippets that I use. They're quite good, really.
Yeah.
Just for cable ties and things, they come in really handy.
Yeah, the cable cutters can be pretty good. Right, okay, let's go on to chat then. So,
Yeah,
Stephen Martin.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, sorry, Phil. There was a thing. Was Stephen? Yeah. See that USB to Ethernet adapter? Do they
mm-hmm.
work? Do they
Yes.
work? Do
Yeah.
they? Because yeah, I must get myself a couple of them. Yeah, they do work. Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite handy, to be honest with you. If you have any driver issues with Ethernet or anything like that, obviously, depending on the connection you plug it into, so USB 2, you will probably be limited with the speed. So if you plug it
Okay.
into a USB 3 socket, it should be good enough for most people's internet. Don't get me wrong, if you've got 300 megabit internet, it's probably going to be a little bit a bit slower than that, but it's good for an emergency or for at least carrying around on jobs.
Oh, excellent. Thank you, Stephen. That's nice one there, now, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't have that on my list, and that is one of the things I do carry with me. Always carry one of those, so it's pretty good because you always get that odd PC, and especially laptops now. A lot of laptops are not coming with Ethernet ports on them.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you need to connect up the internet and you've got no wireless, you're going to be struggling a little bit unless you plug another wireless adapter in, and then you might need a driver for it, and it hasn't got a CD drive, and then you've got to download it on another machine. So they do come in handy.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
So yeah, I would recommend one of those. We've got one in the store, and I've got one in my truck as well. Carry it around with me. So we've also got Paul saying about the Hiren's WinPE Macron Rescue Media. So that's quite a common one. What a lot of people use as well. Facebook user saying he's got a Belkin USB 3 works for me on Apple, so I'm presuming he means the to LAN USB 3 to LAN. So yeah, so it is quite a handy tool to have, that one. So I do recommend it. Right, let me go on to my list, and then I will talk about Eurosoft and maybe a few other software things in a few seconds. So the first thing is, I do have a WoW stick as well. I do like it. It works a lot for a lot of things, but sometimes you do have to give it a little slight turn or push to get it going. I'll put the link in chat for anyone who's interested. But it's basically an electronic screwdriver is probably the best way of putting it. I'll see if I can get it up on screen if it's actually doing it. So typical, it's not coming up on screen for me. So, but anyway, so it's basically an electronic screwdriver. You've got all the different bits and so forth. Here we go. It's coming on now. So let me just share that screen when it wants to. Hope we don't have all these technical issues again like we normally do. Here we go. All right, share screen. There we go. So again, for anyone who doesn't like Amazon, well, tough luck. It's on there. So that's basically the WoW stick. So that's the actual screwdriver there. That's just basically a base at the bottom, what you just stand it in. It's nothing real special. You've got lots of different screwdriver heads on there. You've got a magnet on there as well. So you can obviously magnetize things. And it just makes it easier, especially for laptops and stuff, to open it up. And it comes with a magnetic pad as well to put your screws on so you don't lose them. So for 35, 36 quid or whatever, it's not too bad, to be honest with you. So it gives you a rough idea there. So, and as you can see, I purchased mine roughly a year ago. So, and it's still working. So that's all I can say. Right. Next thing on my list is, let's have a look, is iFixit. It's a common one, what a lot of people use. I'll put it into chat as well. This is the specific toolkit I was mentioning before, which we've got a few of these around. We've got another one as well. What I do carry around, a Draper set, but it's got pretty much all the screwdrivers and fittings you'll need and so forth. Again, I'll stick that into chat for you as well. Does anyone prefer iFixit or Draper or anything who's in the chat?
I use iFixit for the iMac opening kit. That's really decent quality. The tucking discs for taking the screens out.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good quality. And I know a few folk who got iFixit kits. Swear by them. Just
I'm going to say iFixit. I must admit that they are pretty pretty sturdy and so forth.
yeah.
But the kit, but the kit I use the most is probably this one here, which is actually a Draper one. So that one is. It's only 6 screwdrivers in there, but that covers. Okay, I don't do much in the way of Apple stuff, but that covers most things. I've generally, as I said, I've got one in my truck, one on my desk, one basically in the shop, one in the studio, and so forth. And it's not many days go by before I use one of those, or I use them 3 or 4 times. And again, you can see where I purchased it a couple of times there, but I have purchased it a few times from other places as well. But it's definitely a handy kit. That one. So let's have a look. What else have we got? So magnetic mats. Does anyone use magnetic mats?
Yep, I've got one.
Yeah, so that is another thing I recommend people use as well. So a magnetic mat, obviously, if you're taking screws out of the bottom of a laptop or something along that lines, you can put them in certain positions on the magnetic mat so you don't lose them. Some of them actually have board markers with them, so you can draw basically the outline of the laptop and where all the screws go and so forth. So if you're taking it to pieces, you know where everything goes back together as well. So they're always handy. Let's have a look. Another one what I haven't heard mentioned, which I use an awful lot. We've got 2 of these, and that is a data vac. Or when it does actually pop on, I'll put it into chat. So, and that data vac, come on. Why does stuff never load up when you want it to? Here we go. So that's the data vac I use. That's basically an air duster, so it's ideal for blowing dust out of machines. It's very powerful. It comes with like a 3-meter cable, it might even be 5-meter, and it's better than carrying an air compressor around with you. You don't get any moisture out of it. It blows like mad. They do have a video on there with a demonstration. Just to give you a rough idea, but it is very, very, very strong. So I do recommend those. It'll clean all the dust out of your computer, no question. So they're not cheap. There are other brands available. I've tried a few of the other brands, and they've not lasted long. These, as you can see, I've purchased 2. I've had them, 6 years. I'll carry one in the truck with me and also have one in the store. So it saves having a big compressor to clean the machines out, gets rid of the dust in seconds. In most cases, you don't even need to take a laptop to pieces. You just blow it in the air vent and bang, it blows everything out. But very handy tool. You just have to remember to clean the bottom so it doesn't get bunged up with dust on the filter. But otherwise, you shouldn't have any issues with those. Right, does anyone else in chat have anything else? Let's have a look. Jason is saying iFixit is good for laptops. Can't beat my snap-on screwdriver for desktops. That's pretty good. And Jason's saying, yeah, they're fantastic, and I have a similar one. Yeah. Just make sure you use it outdoors, otherwise too much dust. Yeah, obviously, you do have to watch out for that. Let me just check. Can everyone see me okay? Who's on screen at the moment?
You know what? Actually, I was just thinking we have to get for ourselves as well, if we're going on site and we don't have one, is a first aid kit of some nature.
Yeah, first aid kit.
Because seriously, if the tech goes out and if it does cut his hand, or more likely me, who's going to cut my hand, it take a couple of quid. Be a fairly handy tin, and I don't know how many you bring in it, lads. I bet you all are.
I've got one in my truck and obviously in the store as well. And I also have one in the studio. I don't think we've ever used the one in the studio, but they're handy. And fire extinguishers as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Obviously, just watch carrying
sorry, Phil. I've got one of these magnetic bowl things, which are quite handy for putting screws in of computers and things and just keeping them in.
I like that. Where'd you get that from, Dave?
I honestly can't remember. The more mess, it says Silverline on it as the brand, but it's just like a bowl, which is basically, as I said, magnetic.
That's
Yeah, I
great
think that'd be a
idea,
lot
isn't it?
better than those. I use one of the iFix, not the iFix, the Wow Stick little magnetic board thing, but I find them too small and the screws still run off them.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I'm gonna get one of those. They're good. I like that.
That's a great idea.
I mainly use
Yeah.
this for gaming PCs. It's not so much good for laptops and that. I've got a little magnetic surface as well, but this is good for gaming PCs. Just putting the parts in when you're opening it up, and yeah, it's a lot. You lose them all the time, don't you? Everyone loses the screws, so you got to keep them somewhere.
Yeah, that's another thing that I keep. About 3 tubs of different size screws.
Yeah.
And laptop
Yeah.
ones, which are
Makes
coming
sense.
so handy.
And other thing you need to carry and make sure is cables and stuff like that. But what I was mentioning before is regarding fire extinguishers. Do watch carrying one of those in the car, because sometimes they don't like a lot of heat on them. Last thing you want to do is that exploding in your car on a hot day. So obviously make sure what you're carrying, it's in a cool spot, boot or something or whatever, and double check what it says on there, because I don't want you calling me next week saying I blew your car up with a fire extinguisher. Because I'll just laugh at you if you do. So, yes,
Tester. That's another good one.
yes, Stephen, that's a good one.
Rolling them in tonight, but
Yeah, he is.
What type do
He's
you
got
use?
plenty.
What
I've
type-
got
what type
the.
do you use? I use this one. Where is it? I use one of these. Is that like the one you've got?
I think I've got one like that. The one I use is. You both got the same one. The
good.
one main one I've got, it's actually a thermal take one. I think it's Tough Power 2 or 3 or something like that. So, which just like that one, it tells you all the voltages and everything like that. Don't get me wrong, power supply testers aren't always 100% accurate, but they do a lot of the times do the job, because obviously they won't pick up when it's fully under load and all this, that and the other, but it does tell you the voltages going through, which they are handy and does save time with swapping out a power supply sometimes. So yeah, definitely. So Stephen's saying that's the one he's got as well. So it seems to be a common one. I also put a link in the chat for that magnetic dish. What David did, well, it's slightly different. It's more of a rectangular shape, but it's by the same company, Silverline. So if anyone's interested, looks handy. I thought that was a smoking dish to begin with, to be honest. When you pulled it out, I was like, they're going to get a fag out in a second and start smoking, but no.
it gets all too stressful. You have a joint just to calm down. But Phil, sell me PC Euro Checker. Will you? One of you tell me why I should buy this?
Why should you buy it? Okay,
Any
so
of it.
I'll tell you why I use it and how I use it, and then it's up to you if you want to buy it. So it's a bootable tool. So just like Hiron's boot CD and all these different things, memory stick is the usual way you get it on. It boots the machine in, obviously, a UEFI environment, unless you use the old version. But basically, it boots it so the software is not running. So the software is not going to get in the way, for example. So if you're using Malwarebytes, which again, their tech suite is it's a pretty cool program. And I must admit, I use it. But that will only pick up basically errors what Windows is reporting a lot of the time and stuff like that, where this will actually do a thorough check of the hardware. So you can do quick checks, which even saying that quick checks take sometimes 20, 30 minutes or whatever, and you can do real in-depth checking, which can take days if you really wanted it to. So it's ideal for those jobs where you have intermittent faults a lot of the times, where you just don't know what's causing the problem and you're at the point of stripping everything out of the machine and so forth. We've even had it pick up failures on hard drives where, for example, Malwarebytes, or even what's that other tool what everyone uses for checking hard drives? Not HD Tune, the other one.
Crystal Disk.
Crystal Disk, that's it. Crystal Disk, they'll say they're okay because they only really read the smart information, where their hardware checker will check, obviously, the hard drives itself. But it's one of those things, it's not everyone's cup of tea, don't get me wrong, it's expensive. But we tend to like to run it on machines as we get them in the store to make sure there's no issues and before they leave. If we build a machine, we like to give them a good long stress test as well. So if we built a computer, we'll give it generally a 48-hour stress test using this, so it's constantly being used and worked. So again, not everyone's cup of tea. Might not work for if you're doing a lot of remote stuff or anything like that, but if you're bringing stuff back to your store or your house and you want to do some long tests on it, it's ideal for that. But it's not just for hard drives. It'll check pretty much every component in your PC, from CPU, graphics, hard drive, chipset, media, and so forth. So it gives you a rough idea. Does that answer your question?
Yes, answers it perfectly well. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, so don't get me wrong, there are other free tools out there what do the job, but I prefer that one because it's all in one, in honesty. So I don't have to mess about with tools what may have not been updated or might be out of date, or may have been done by, I don't know, someone who hasn't coded it properly. You at least got a company behind you. You pay for it, you can keep it for forever if you wanted to, but they do have a renewal scheme on it as well. So if you want the latest updates, you do have to renew it every year. So I know Ben's got it and you've used it, haven't you, Ben, if I'm right? So
yeah, I've used it. Yeah.
So do you use it much, or?
I've used it a few times. Yeah, for just fault finding where it wasn't totally obvious. But yeah, it's generally pretty good. Been quite happy with it.
Yeah. So again, it's not the cheapest tool on the market, but it does have does find those faults what you probably struggle to get otherwise. So, and David's putting the link on, I think, in chat for that magnetic dish he had. So that's pretty good.
That's it. The one still that I've just seen on Amazon there. It's a bit of a larger one.
Is it? That's pretty good. Stephen's also saying that PC Check also gives a pass report with serial numbers for components, which you can print off for the customer to keep for themselves. I know, or at least they used to. I think Target used it as well. Target Components, when they build the custom-built machines, what they do, that I'm pretty sure they used to use it, and then they send you the report to show you that it's passed their tests and stuff like that as well. So, but it's a one machine device only. So if you need to use it on 2 or 3 devices at the same time, you've got to buy it 2 or 3 times. So it does add up. And obviously you can use it on one machine and then finish testing on that and then move on to the next one. That's fine. But you do need to buy it multiple times. Right. Next up, and this is another tool what I use quite often. I use it all the time, actually. It's more of an enclosure, not for customer stuff, but for my stuff. So this is an external enclosure, which is USB, as well as USB Type-C. So you put an M.2 NVMe drive or SATA drive in it, and basically, there you go, you can see it on the screen, you can plug it into any machine, and you think, oh, well, why not just get an external hard drive? Well, because you can put an NVMe drive in it, it goes really fast, so it's ideal for backing stuff up, especially if you're using USB Type-C. You can back stuff up really quick. You can install Windows in a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes if you're using something like that, if you've got Windows installed on it. And again, you can pick what sort of size drive you want and so forth. I carry those around. Here we go. There's mine. I'll put it on my desk right here. Let me just put myself on the screen. Like with most things, I've lost the lids, but it does the job, and it does everything you want, and you just open it up and put your own drive in if you want to. So that's handy for backing up users' data, especially when you're at their house or on site, because obviously time is usually of essence when you're doing that, because obviously you don't want to be sitting there 3 hours backing up someone's pictures from 20 years ago. So that's there, and also use a virtual boot drive. I think David may have said that. Let's have a look. So I did put the link in chat for the Acasa M.2 NVMe drive, David, just to let you know. You can have a look at it after the show, but it's pretty good drive. But virtual boot drive. Let me just get that up on screen as well for everyone. Now, these I find handy here. So, is this the same one you were using, David, did you mention, or something similar? Or is it one you make yourself?
No, mine's just a USB stick, and it's the easy to boot software.
Okay, so it's the easy
I
to
use
software. Yeah.
but I haven't used that one before. But I do know a different tech who's used one of those. They said they're quite good, but mine was just a cheaper version.
Yeah. So there are quite a few different variations out there. So obviously, again, it's up to you guys what you use. But I find this ideal because you can put ISOs on it. Where I've got Windows all the way Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, all the different variations, as well as any other devices, boot ISOs I want. You just basically plug it into the machine, and then on the screen on the device, you just choose what you want to do, and then it'll load the ISO when you start it up, just as if you've got a USB or a DVD in the machine or whatever. So you can keep multiple ISOs just on one device. It saves you carrying around 10 USB pens. It's basically all in one. And also, because you can put any size drive you want in it, you can also partition it and then put data on the other partition. So, for example, I've got all my useful programs on one partition and my ISOs on another, so I can easily get them up and about. So it's pretty handy. Does anyone else use any of these type of devices other than David?
No, USB sticks, but I did look at that. Someone mentioned when I first joined Tech for Techs, I was on about having, instead of having 10 different USB sticks, someone mentioned that. I did never buy one, but I'm tempted to.
Yeah, I was going to say they're pretty good, to be honest. If you remember to use them, I carry them around, and it saves me carrying lots of different things around. So I must admit, it's a quite handy tool. Last thing I've got on my list is a USB hard drive reader, basically. So again, I'll put that up in chat. I think a lot of us have probably used these in the past. Let's have a look. Put that back on screen. So it's basically USB free. You plug it into. You can plug a hard drive into it, IDE or SATA, if anyone even comes across IDE anymore. So when you're on site, you don't have to carry a big caddy around with you or anything like that. You can just plug in a drive directly into it, plug it into a USB port of your laptop, and then you can recover data if needs be, or do whatever you need to on the drive. So they've been around a few years, those type of drives have, but they are handy. You can see the last time I bought one was like 2017. So, and they're only like £8, so it's worth carrying around.
I find they're absolutely brilliant. That's why I got one, because it's particularly when I'm mobile. Someone says there's just something wrong with the SSD, or they just want data off the old hard drive. You haven't got to do anything with the computer. You take the thing out and take the drive out. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, it does save a lot of time and messing around, doesn't it? So that's, I must admit, it's true. Has anyone in chat got any other devices they use? I'm just checking chat, and there's not a huge amount of people are saying today. Let's have a look. Network testers, thermal pastes, even. Yes, thermal paste is always a good one to carry with you, especially if you're cleaning machines out, and obviously something to clean the thermal paste with as well. So something like it's the Casa thermal paste cleaner, Tim Clean. I usually use. That's pretty good for cleaning thermal paste off. It's like a citric liquid, which you just put a few drops on and it just rubs straight off with a cloth. So yeah. Fab's Auto Backup, I think we've mentioned that, and obviously the sponsor, that's a good tool as well. I use a lot. We always back up every machine what we get coming into our store. It's not always easy to do when you're on site, but if it's something coming into the store, we back everything up. And to back it all up, it takes literally a couple of minutes to go through all the settings, and then you just let it go. I think Cormac's got to go, so thanks for joining us, Cormac, and I'll see you next week. I think it's on Cormac's show, or, well, not his show, but show he wants to do. It's how to make more money.
How to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. And if anyone knows how to make more money
legally, it's the way to go. All right, you know your English, and you automatically think of robbing banks and stuff. I watch movies, all right?
Exactly.
But legally, all right? Yeah.
It doesn't involve any 2.5-inch hard drives or 1.44
This is one show
floppies
that's going to
or
get put
any
out.
boxes at all. So, or at
It's
least I
a
don't think.
pleasure, lads. And look after yourselves over there in England. Talk soon, all right? Take care.
No problem. See you later, Cormac, and thanks for joining us again. Right, okay. So, so Fab's Auto Backup, something I always do, as I was saying, is back everything up what comes into the store, because you never know. The last thing you want anything to happen is while you've got the customer's machine in the store is the thing goes bang, or the hard drive dies on you, and then the customer blames you for losing all their pictures of baby Timmy or Bob or whatever it is, and so forth. So we always make sure we back everything up just in case, because a lot of time when you are testing things, you're stressing the machine out more so than it's probably ever been used. So if it's going to conk out, that's going to be the time it's going to conk out, is when you're stressing it. So always make sure, if it's something important or whatever, you make sure you back up first. If obviously it's in your store or your house or your workshop or however you're doing it. Again, on site, not always as easy, especially if someone's got 2 terabytes of family photos. Does anyone else have any tools or equipment they like to use or anything like that, who's either in chat or who's watching, or any of the guest hosts? Anything from you guys?
Set of pliers.
Yeah,
That's
they
a good
all
one.
go well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Pliers are always good.
Getting screws that are broken.
Yeah. Pliers are always good. One what I find is a lot when people custom build their own computers, they put the wrong screw in the motherboard, and then obviously you get the little thing what screws into the case, the standoff, and that doesn't come out, and you have to get pliers on the back of that and the screwdriver on the other side to get it undone. That's a common one. So yeah, pliers, cable cutters, I think David mentioned, and a few other tools like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I always carry 2 or 3 sometimes of each kind of screwdriver, purely because sometimes, as you said, if say put the wrong thing in, sometimes you need one screwdriver one side if you're on your own, another one just to apply pressure, but
Yeah.
in a controlled fashion.
That's it. Let's think, what else do we tend to use? Well, the most important tool, what I probably carry with me now, is my mobile phone. Because you can look things up easily, and well, we're at Plug in the group. If you've got any problems or questions, you can ask someone in the group while you're on site. I used to use my laptop near enough on every job I used to go to, where now I'm probably lucky if I even use it once a week. I generally have to charge it up, and I'll go, right, I've probably not used it this week at all, and do all the updates. I used to use laptops for doing pretty much most jobs for whatever reason, but now it's generally 99% of the stuff you can do is on your phone. That is something, obviously, which is a tool, which I don't think I need to go and tell everyone to go out and buy one, because I'm pretty sure everyone's got one already. But I must admit, the one phone what I did like and was the best tool to me, which unfortunately the company decided to stop making them, was the Microsoft phones. I know they weren't everyone's cup of tea, but with the right adapters, you could actually plug in hard drives and all sorts into your phone and actually do quite a few different things without having to get a laptop out. But again, the App Store wasn't the best, and compatibility with different things, so they died the death. It's not like Microsoft to make something what comes out for a few years and then they cancel it, is it?
They were good phones. I second that. I used to love mine.
Yeah, right. I must admit that I used to love the camera on mine as well.
Still got
Still
one.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it still works if I wanted to use it as well. So
That's. I think we've probably got one in a drawer somewhere hidden. But yeah, Microsoft phones. I think it was Nokia actually who made them.
Yeah.
So, and that's another company you don't hear too much about these days, Nokia. But yeah, otherwise, I think other than carrying keyboards and mice as spare with me and stuff like that, they're the main tools I use, to be honest with you. Other than obviously, well, depends if you want to call me a tool or if it's a tool what I've got up here. I tend to use your brain, but again, if you don't know something, you can easily ask and have a look. Right, has anyone else in chat got anything else they want to say? Because you're pretty quiet tonight. I can see there's a lot of you watching, but you're very, very quiet. You're a bit shy tonight. So, anyone else got any other tools they want to mention before we call it a end tonight? Have you got anything, Tim or David?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, something that I use quite a bit is you say about having your phone or access to other information on your phone. I always make sure before if I know if it's called I've got time to plan ahead to go to a customer. We'll say, I always make sure all of the information I could need is accessible on my cloud drive, so I can just go on. I've got take an iPad with me, go to location. I can just go to that information. I don't ever theoretically have to fill out and bring a notepad with me, unless it's just writing ad hoc things down. But it just means I've got all my backup information there if I need it. So that including if I've been to someone's site location, say it's the same machine I've worked on before, I'll know what I've done before, that kind of thing. So
Yeah. That's always good, and say obviously if you use a repair shop or whatever system as well, obviously you'll have everyone's notes. But yeah, it's always good to have some sort of drive you've got access to like that online. So, do you have any ideas, David, or have you run out?
Yeah, I was obviously Cormac earlier on was talking about the Malwarebytes like tech benches that I think called something like that.
Bench or tech suite?
Yeah,
tech benches. Yeah.
I had a trial of that a while back from Malwarebytes. Obviously, their anti-malware software is fantastic. I use that for customers, but I had a trial of that tech software. I found it quite good, but I thought it was really expensive. So just recently, literally a few weeks ago, I found a thing called Scan Circle, which I think a lot of people will have heard of. Started using that just initially when you get a laptop in or a PC, just boot into Windows. It's like a 200 kilobyte program, and you just run it, and it tells you information about the hardware on the system. When was the last Windows updates installed? It just tells you about software on the computer, different things like that. It's really good, just for initial check of the laptop or the PC. Similar to the Malwarebytes software, but totally free.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing. You can put it on your website and get people to scan the machines. It's basically a link. Let me just show you how we do it. So let me just turn the screen on. Here we go. I'm just going to turn chat off because I was talking on there anyway, so we can see. Right, okay, let's enlarge that. So basics is you go on you can put the link on your website, or you can run it yourself, or direct link. We've got a link at the bottom of our screen which just says run scan, and then you press single scan, and it just goes through and then brings up this screen here. You can set it up a little bit more with more information in the middle. But it gives your machine a score. It tells you the date and time, tells you if everything's right, and so forth.
The advice section's quite good on the next link.
What was that? Sorry.
The advice. If you click on the advice tab, that's the one I mainly use.
That one.
Yeah.
It
tells about your system things and.
Yeah, so everyone can see what machine I've got now and what I'm running. But user account control, you can see that's been disabled. I do that so it doesn't pop up all the time when I'm doing stuff, and so forth. So you can see the information. It gives you tips as well on there as well about updating it and so forth. If you BIOS, it gives you recommendations about different things on there as well. It'll tell you what's running, what they don't recommend. We're doing some videos about mining in the next few weeks, so it's picking up, I think, something about mining on here. Yeah, unusual startup folder from Nice Hash Miner. So we're going to be talking about mining and so forth. Don't worry, I'm not mining, using all the graphics cards up and mining everything, people. It's just it's just for a video we're doing on YouTube. But in basics, you can see it gives you all your information on there. And what you could do is basically go by that information, service the computer, and then basically tell the customer, right, this was a score before I serviced it and did everything, and this is the score now. So obviously my machine's quite up to date, but you'll get a lot of people who will have stuff what is basically out of date and so forth. And you can see all the hardware specs of the machines. If you've got it set up right as well, You can also get it to, if people are doing it on your website, you'll get an automatic email. This person's basically tried to do a scan on the machine. This was their score, so you've got like an advanced notice of the report. And so forth. And if you do need help with this, I'm not sure why it's popping up at the bottom, you can then click on that. The customer can click on that link and it can take you to your contact page on your website or wherever you want it to. So it's an online tool, so you can use it for yourself or you can get your customers to use it. And then it gives you send you an email or the report, so you know roughly what's wrong with the machine or anything like that. So it's a good tool, and it's not too expensive if I remember right. But I'd have to double check that. How much does that cost you roughly, David? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember. There is a free version which is not meant to be used commercially. And then there's the paid version. It's on the website. I forgot the exact price.
Yeah, it's not too expensive. I think it was probably like 30 quid or something, along that lines. But obviously that's per month. So let's have a look. Scan Circle. I'm just having a look, see if I can see pricing on there. What is it? How to perform, request support. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Oh, partner program. Here we go. So, partner program standard subscription is €14.99 a month, or you can buy it yearly for €179. So it's not cheap, but if used properly, it could be a big benefit. Obviously, you can send emails out to customers. Check your machine if it's not got a score of 5 or above. You need a service or something along that lines. So it could be a good tool to use. You could obviously try it. I'm not sure if they do it for a short amount of time or whatever, but so if you can probably get it for a few months. Oh yeah, they do a 30-day trial, so you can do a 30-day trial and give it a go and see if you like it. And if I'm right as well, Tech for Techs members do get a discount as well. Just check on our discount page if you are a Tech for Techs member, and you'll get a discount as well. But it is a good tool. I must admit, we use it not as much as we should. I must admit, we don't have time, to be honest. But if you did use it correctly, like by the sound David is, then it could make you plenty of extra money coming in potentially. I can see Ben's actually doing a search or typing something at the moment. So, what tools are you thinking of, Ben?
Yeah, so it's a handy little website that I use quite a lot. Ninite or ninite.com. Lots of free software that you can download. You've got your Chrome, free antivirus software, Office applications, sort of Java DVD playback software. I don't know if you can get up on the screen there or not, Phil.
Yeah, just going to.
Brilliant website. Use it for all my installs.
I'm just getting it up on screen. Just carry on talking and let us know how you use it. So here we go.
It. Yeah, I mean, normally when I do installs, I'll use the. Oh, sorry, I'm just taking the private chat in the corner. Usually, I'll just get Chrome and I'll get LibreOffice off of there and just download them on each machine. And brilliant, no rubbish, just what you want off the site. It's brilliant bit of software, or brilliant website rather. Yeah, bloat free, so you don't get any adverts or buttons you have to click to not install, loads of other rubbish when you install the programs that you actually want to install, that sort of thing. It's just really clean, nice, easy to use.
It's a good tool. So obviously, if you were setting up lots of machines the same, you could say, yeah, I want Google Chrome on there with, let's have a look, Zoom and Discord and Skype. You just tick what you want with Audacity, Dropbox. You just basically go through the list and what you do, and it just makes you one basically exe file or
it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it just does the downloader and installer by itself pretty much, sort of thing. So other thing I was thinking about was, it's not a physical tool, it's not a website, but it's something I do carry about. It's a bottle of TARDIS. It's nothing to do with Doctor Who's TARDIS. It's TARDIS tar remover. Absolutely brilliant for cleaning laptops. It doesn't half stink, I have to say, but I get a lot of ex-corporate stuff coming through. It's maybe got labels on it, and brilliant job of cleaning labels. Just spray a little bit on, leave it for about 20-30 seconds, come back, and the label just peels right off, no hassle.
That's pretty good. You know what is good at removing labels if you haven't got anything?
Go on.
WD-40.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's probably a bit safer because I have to say the TARDIS is generally really, really good. But I have had a couple of lids where it's reacted a little bit, but it cleans off when you use water again afterwards. But it's it's brilliant. It's not the cheapest stuff. I think it's about £35 for 5 litres. But it lasts a long, long time. Just getting a spray bottle and does the job. Brilliant.
Okay, it's pretty good. We do have some stuff for cleaning labels off. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's in like a bottle, but it's got like a brush on the end, which you scrub. That's it. AF cleaner stuff. Yeah.
Good stuff.
So that's the stuff. So yeah.
I was going to say it's very random how I came across the TARDIS actually, because it's supposed to be for cleaning car paint of all things. And I used to have a classic car, an old classic Beetle, and I bought some of the TARDIS tar remover for that. And then I noticed the cleaning was just doing that, and I tried it on a computer to see if I get rid of a label and just found it was brilliant. So it's strange how you come about things sometimes, but yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. One thing we've used, well, not necessarily for cleaning, is getting rid of scratches on laptops. It works on some laptops, not on others. But can you ever guess what it is?
Is it Vaseline?
No, it works. It works on. That's a good thing to add onto this show. Vaseline for the name of it, but no. I'll give you a hint. You use it on cars.
Teacup.
Turtle wax. Teacup.
Yes, teacup. So that'll actually get rid of a lot of scratch. You have to look at the type of paint you've got on the laptop, but that will get rid of some of the scratches and stuff on the actual laptops on top. So where it's obviously paint scratches, not obviously if someone's gone across with a big knife and put an inch deep scratch in it. But it generally, what I would suggest is you try it on a small area first, though, just in case. But I have used it on a few.
The Vaseline wasn't actually an innuendo or anything, Phil. Don't worry. It was actually someone else gave me a little jar of Vaseline. When you get really, really tiny little scratches on laptop screens, you can rub a bit of Vaseline on, and that can actually fill this tiny little scratch in.
Oh, so the actual screen itself, so the actual glass.
Yeah, but it's only for very thin, very small scratches. Because other than that, it's not very much good. But
Yeah, the teacup was actually for the painted plastics. Not don't put that on the screen. Just to make it clear for everyone. I don't want. Exactly. So yeah, I definitely don't want you scratching your screen up. That's for sure. But yeah, obviously anything like that, try it beforehand. But so that's pretty much it for the cleaning products. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head what I carry around or use much, to be honest. Anyone else got anything else before we end the show?
We got
Ian. Go on then, Ian.
The Ultra High Bond tape, which is good for your Apple repairs, but it's also a tip someone else gave me on Tech for Tech group, is if you can't get a caddy for a laptop, this stuff's good for sticking SSDs down with. And that's been pretty good. But for gaming laptops, I use this still because a lot of them, when they've got the massive heat sinks, they've got a massive gap between the heat sink and the actual chip. So I still use a lot of this stuff, and it's really good stuff. And
it's pretty good.
Is that like a thermal pad?
Sorry?
Is that like a thermal pad?
Yeah, it's thermal gap filler. So it's basically, is this one open? No. Yeah, basically it's a big pad, and you cut it to shape.
Yeah, I've got some of them. Yeah, similar.
And then it's really good stuff actually.
That's better than using the old trick of getting a small piece of copper and putting it between the CPU and the actual heatsink and letting the pressure do the job. Obviously, you put a bit of thermal paste on as well, but yeah. So yeah, thermal paste. Anyone have a preference on thermal paste they use while we're at it?
Arctic MX4 every day.
Or MX5.
Yeah, MX5 now. Yeah.
The Cooler Master stuff's good that you get with some of their fans. What is it? Master Gel Pro. That's pretty good stuff as well. You can get this in bigger tubes, obviously, but this is pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I got that free with a heatsink, but I found when you use it separately as well, it's really good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I must admit I do like the Arctic stuff. I've got quite a lot of that, so I do like their fans. Well, I like most of the Arctic products, apart from when they're trying to add RGB on it, and it tends to, well, not be very good afterwards. But that's another story, and you can look at the reviews for that one. But yeah, Arctic stuff is usually pretty good, I must admit. Right, any more from anyone else?
A good piece of software I've been used a few times is Space Sniffer. I got called out to a call recently. Customer had a gaming PC, wasn't very old, and they basically didn't know how they'd run out of space so quick on the hard drive, and used Space Sniffer. It just basically tells you where everything is on the hard drive, what you've got, what's taking up all the space on the hard drive. Turned out they had lots of leftover files from a game off Steam, like 40, 60, 100 gigabyte of files off a game in a Steam folder that were like temporary files, and it showed up on Space Sniffer straight away. So got rid of those, and they had an extra like 100 gigabytes of space. It's quite a good program. I've used a few times.
And that's Space Sniffer.
Yeah, Space Sniffer. Yeah, it's genuine software. It's nothing.
It sounds similar to Tree Size Pro. Does anyone ever use Tree Size Pro?
I think I've used that in the past. Yeah, well, only the once though. But yeah, I think I had an issue where storage was taken up on something. I couldn't figure out what it was. But yeah. Steam usually does have these hidden folders, unfortunately, in game folders, especially save game folders and stuff. There's some games out there which, like, when the save that's like 250 meg each save, and it doesn't get rid of the old saves and stuff like that, and they soon add up. I must admit they do take up a lot of room. So is this Space Sniffer? Is this by Uderzo? Is it Uderzo?
I'm just googling myself. So I can't remember which company it is, but yeah, if you go on Google and type in Space Sniffer and go on the images, you'll be able to see an image of what the tool looks like. But it's a decent tool just for finding out where everything is on the hard drive, rather than going into the folders.
It's like a brown screen, is it?
That's at first, but then it comes up with lots of different colours.
Different colours.
Yeah.
Like that.
And more than that now, the latest one's a lot more colours than that. But just basically, the bigger it is, the more space it's taking up. So you can see if you've got like 100 gig in downloads or something, and different things.
Okay, that's pretty good. So yeah, we'll have to have a look into that one. I've not used that one. Don't get a huge amount of ask for that, especially nowadays. People are tend to be using less and less storage space unless they're gamers or something along that line. So let me just close that if it'll let me. Come on. That's the problem when you've got multiple screens on and then you're looking at another screen and there's two mice on the screen. Right, okay. Anything else, or are we going to be calling it a night? I don't think we've got anything else in chat other than Paul saying he's getting some MX5 to test it out. It's good, Paul. Don't get me wrong, you won't see a huge difference between MX5 and MX4. The colour of MX5 is a little bit more bluish than silver, and on our testing, we did a review of it, and it works out probably about half a degree cooler, maybe 1 degree cooler than the MX4, whichever degree helps, but it did perform very well. So don't get me wrong, if you've got a choice and you can only get MX4, there's no problem with that, but MX5 is just a little bit better, and from what I've seen of the prices, is actually either the same or a little bit cheaper as well. So, and they do big tubes, small tubes, and all sorts, so that's pretty good. Right, guys, I think that's it for tonight. I think we've gone through all the comments and so forth. We do have a show next week, as we mentioned earlier, and this is Cormac's idea. It's going to be how to make more money, and trust me, if anyone knows how to make more money, it's Cormac. He's they call him the King of Ireland for a reason, let's put it this way. So, and it's nothing to do with how good he is in battle or anything like that. It's because he knows how to make money. Right, okay, and that is next week, how to make more money. So I'd like to thank everyone who's in the show tonight. So obviously that would have been Cormac, Ben, Ian, Tim, and David for joining tonight. And hopefully they'll be on the show again soon. If you are an independent trader, store owner, MSP, tech, vendor, or distributor, you can find out more information about Tech for Techs at techfortechs.co.uk/join. Join over 1,100 members just like you that can give you free tech and business advice. And did I say it's totally free to join with no membership fees or costs for you? Make sure you tune in next Thursday, as I said, at 8 p.m. for the next show. And when you are clicking on those links on the Tech for Techs to join page, make sure you fill in your information. If you don't, you don't get in. Simple as that. So again, see you next week at 8 o'clock. And thanks for watching and thanks for supporting independent businesses. Good night, everyone.
No.
Right.